Welcome, everybody. It appears that Anthony isn't going to be joining us tonight, so we're just going to have at it without him. Welcome, everybody. Let me mute that. So I'm not sure where Tony is tonight, but he has not been very responsive. And since I've already promoted the show, we're going to go on without him. The upside is that the show should be a little more concise, unless maybe divergent and digressing. So here we go. So, what kind of idiot looks at the round shadow of the moon on the moon and decides the Earth is a pancake? Tonight, we're dissecting one of the loudest and dumbest hoaxes of human history, the Flat Earth movement, a circus for attention hungry grifters pretending to be scientists. So let's get into it. Let me straighten this out a little bit. Okay. So, what made me consider doing this particular, I guess, show is that I just can't believe how many people, whether it's on X, Facebook, Instagram. I mean, they're everywhere, um, and there's just all of this attention being given to the flat Earth movement, and I kind of felt like that went out in the 1400s. So um, I'm just very surprised to see that it's made such a comeback, and I can't figure out for what reason. And so we're going to get into it, and then maybe at the end I'll give you my final thoughts on who and what is behind all of this. So if you're new here, hit subscribe and drop a like and share this so the next guy who says NASA's lying gets a free education before interacting with somebody else with stupidity. So we're going to cover basically three segments: the dumbest history of the flat Earth nonsense, how charlatans keep an ancient lie alive. Then we're going to move on to the modern circus, who is pushing it and why. And then we're going to go into some ways to debunk it and verbally annihilate uh, this cult. Um, so the flat Earth story isn't a rebellion; it's a recycling. A long before live streaming microphones, the grift was run by hustlers who discovered that ignorance could pay better than scholarship. So, Eratosthene measured the Earth's size to 23 Earth size 23 centuries ago with nothing but sticks and shadows. Yet centuries later, Samuel Rothbautham rewrote physics in a pamphlet and sold it to people who preferred magic to mathematics. His so-called Zetetic astronomy was the Victorian version of snake oil. I apologize. I'm struggling with reading my own words today. It's I didn't get a lot of sleep for some reason this weekend. Uh, so back on track. Optical illusions dressed as revelations. Uh, Lady Vault Count, the University Zoltec Society turned that trash into an early multi-level marketing plan for the gullible. Fast forward to 1956, Samuel Shelton revived the cult, sneering at satellites he said didn't exist, and by the 1970s, Charles Johnson claimed thousands of followers, all allergic to evidence. Um, then came the internet. Suddenly, anyone with a webcam could reinflate the corpse of this scam. Conferences replaced peer review, merchandise replaced math, The real tragedy isn't that people believe this absurdity. It's that no one pushes back hard enough to resist it. I mean, it's really amazing to me how many people have bought into this. Um, okay, Mark, how is the audio? If you could let me know in chat, because I can't check my phone. I could, but it's um it's beyond me at the moment. And so what I find just absolutely bizarre is how popular it's become and how nobody is pushing back on it. It's just uh thousands of accounts now pushing the flat earth. And I don't understand how anyone could even come to this conclusion if they've ever traveled anywhere. If they go in a plane anywhere, it becomes very obvious that the Earth is round or at least curved. And if you've ever been in a boat and you sail beyond the point where you can see land again, it just seems like, and nobody is pushing back on this. And now there's literally tens of thousands of people on things like Facebook and on things like TikTok following this trash. So ignorance is turned into an identity, and calling it out became toxic. By coddling delusion, we're only strengthening it. These people market vulnerability as a virtue. Um, you're not wrong. You're awake, and uh, so that's been kind of the thing. And so I've kind of put together a little bit of video. I hope not. I mean, the last time I checked, the Earth was round, Mark. I mean, yeah, Matt. Um, but it's amazing to me how many people believe it. It's crazy. And so, anyways, I put together a little presentation since I can't really speak to kind of cover the idea, what I kind of found out about it. So here we go.
Right to it. We're taking a deep dive into the flat Earth
Hopefully, you guys
delusion.
can hear
And to
it.
be clear, this isn't a debate. It's an examination of a deeply flawed belief system, and we're not going to pull any punches.
I
I
can't
mean,
hear it,
seriously,
so
this question right here
if you
cuts through
guys
all the
could
noise.
let me
It
know if
really
you can
is the
hear
core
the
of the
audio
issue.
on this.
You look
It
up
only
during a
plays to
lunar
you guys.
eclipse, you see a perfectly round shadow crawling across the moon, and your brain concludes, pancake? We're going to explore how anyone gets to that point. Now, you might think this is some new thing, a product of YouTube algorithms and internet forums. Oh no, this delusion isn't new. It's not even original. It's just a recycled scam from the 19th century dusted off for a new generation. Look at this timeline. It's just wild. Over 2,300 years ago, Eratosthenes figures out the Earth is a globe, and its size, with nothing but sticks, shadows, and his brain. Then, 2,000 years later, a guy named Samuel Robotham kicks off a grift that gets passed
Can you
down
guys
through a
hear the
series of other
audio?
hucksters who figured out there was money to be made selling nonsense. They gave it a fancy name, of course, zetetic astronomy. Sounds important, doesn't it? It's just a Greek word for to seek. But what they were really selling was Victorian-era snake oil. They'd point at optical illusions, things that happen with perspective over long distances, and call it scientific proof to sell pamphlets to people who, well, didn't know any better. And here is the grifter's Bible, the exact same playbook they use
Okay.
today. You sell confusion as some kind of grand revelation. You hold conferences instead of doing real, repeatable experiments. You turn a lack of knowledge into a subscription service, an exclusive club, and you profit because most people are too polite to call an idea what it is. Ridiculous.
All right, let's fast forward. The old scam got a 21st century upgrade thanks to social media. Now the same tired ideas can spread like wildfire. Welcome to the modern-day ego carnival.
So who actually falls for this stuff? Well, you've basically got three camps. First, there are people who are just looking for a community, a place to belong. Then you've got the literalists, who want simple answers to big questions, even if those answers are complete fiction. And finally, you have the contrarians, the folks who think that just by disagreeing with everyone, they must be the smartest person in the room. So what powers this whole machine? Oh, it's a beautiful psychological principle called the Dunning-Kruger effect. It's the engine that drives this entire movement. Put simply, it's when people who know the absolute least about a subject are the most confident that they are experts. It's the peak of Mount Stupid. And this right here, this is the emotional shield. It's how they protect their egos. They rebrand being wrong as being brave. They're not misinformed, they're courageous truth seekers fighting the establishment. It's a neat little trick to avoid the shame of being utterly, demonstrably incorrect. And you just have to love the hypocrisy. It is spectacular. They'll stand on stage and scream that NASA is lying and that satellites are a hoax while live streaming their conference to the world using, you guessed it, satellite internet. They'll tell you global travel is a conspiracy while boarding a plane that navigates using spherical trigonometry. The cognitive dissonance is staggering. Okay, enough about the history and the psychology. Let's talk about the one thing they can't argue their way out of: reality. This is where the debate just stops, because the evidence is overwhelming, and it has been for centuries. This is the classic, the OG proof. Anyone can do this. Go to the beach, watch a tall ship sail away. It doesn't just get smaller and smaller until it's a dot. No, the hull vanishes first. It sinks below the horizon, followed by the mast, from the bottom up. That can only happen one way, on a curved surface. Period. Let's just let this number sink in for a second. 2,300 years. That's how long we have known with mathematical certainty that the Earth is a globe. This isn't new science. The math was done. It still works. And let's go back to the shadow on the moon. It's simple geometry, people. During a lunar eclipse, the Earth moves between the sun and the moon, casting its shadow. That shadow is always, always a round arc. What's the only 3D shape that casts a round shadow no matter how you turn it? A sphere. End of story. How about modern technology? Global logistics. A non-stop flight from Santiago, Chile to Sydney, Australia is a routine flight path. On a globe, it makes perfect sense. It's a straight shot over the Antarctic region. On their flat map, the plane would have to travel an impossible distance, basically requiring teleportation. It's complete nonsense. And honestly, that's just scratching the surface. There's a mountain of other evidence they just have to pretend doesn't exist. High-altitude weather balloons, launched by amateurs, clearly capture the planet's curvature. Foucault's pendulum, hanging in museums worldwide, physically demonstrates the Earth's rotation. Gravity itself explains why any object with enough mass pulls itself into a sphere. They just plug their ears and hum. So, where does that leave us? Well, after looking at the history, the psychology, and the undeniable physical evidence, we're left with a crystal clear picture. This isn't about a search for truth. It's about ego, community, and a profound distrust of science itself. So, here's the takeaway. The next time you hear someone say, "But the horizon looks flat," you know exactly what to tell them. So does their logic.
Okay. If anyone could tell me how the audio was, and what do you think of that presentation, if you could give me a little feedback on it. It's the first time I have incorporated video from my end, and so I don't know how it turned out. For whatever reason, OBS doesn't allow me to monitor the audio and listen to it at the same time. All right, thank you. Moving on to the modern circus and who pushes it and why. The present day movement isn't faith, it's a performant art for profit. A handful of content hustlers turn conspiracy into a lifestyle brand. They rail against global travel while boarding planes built on spherical trigonometry. They shout fake satellites while live streaming via satellite internet. Hypocrisy as a business plan. Their followers fall into three camps neatly. The uniformed who craves belonging, the literist who prefers forming fiction, and the contrarian who mistakes attention for intellect. Combine that with social media algorithms pouring gasoline on all three, outrage travels much faster than fact on the internet, and every platform rewards engagement, not accuracy, which is what I keep telling myself why we're not doing well, and somebody, doing flat Earth stuff, which is kind of the reason why I'm doing this show, does fantastic. I mean, at least that's what I hope it is. I mean, it could be that I suck. Who knows? The psychology makes it easy. Tell them confidence equals competence, and confirmation bias locks the door behind them. And so we got a bunch of people pushing this stuff to the world at large. And I hear, like, I've heard LeBron James say the earth is flat. I mean, so this is getting around. The celebrities are saying it now. Various people on the internet. I mean, next thing I know, I'm gonna hear some of our politicians claiming it's all true. And I don't get what ultimately they're getting out of this. Uh, if everybody knows the Earth is round, and then these people are like, I don't see where they make their money or what they're getting out of being contrary to it. And again, I don't see how they get there from here. Like, none of their models seem to make sense. It's hard to even fathom how it makes sense to anyone. And, because many crave community more than truth, the echo chamber feels safer than reality. With Within that bubble, skepticism is betrayal, and basic physics become blasphemy. The result is a self-sealed cult that exploits loneliness for revenue. And I say that, but I'm not sure where is there revenue in this. I mean, I guess people making videos are making some money, but uh, where is the money being made for this, and why is it so prevalent? Yes, he does. He's playing uh, basket disc. Um, and I can understand he's not a very bright man, so I understand why he would fall for it. But some of the other people that are pushing it, they seem quite bright, and yet, because they're good arguers, and yet they can't figure this out. And so my conclusion is that the whole reason that the people at the top are pushing it is because they're in desperate need of attention. And even if it's just arguing with people, um, the conflict gives them some sort of status, and they get to pretend that they've discovered something that us poor plebes are too stupid to understand. And that's really the only thing that I think makes this work for most people. And of course, there are a lot of dumb people that just haven't traveled. Like, um, a lot of the people, like, I was watching a video of a woman who was one of the leaders, and it was in Britain, and the host was talking to her about her beliefs, and she said that it's obvious, all I have to do is look around, the earth is flat. And he's like, well, I've seen the curvature of the earth. And she asked them where, and he was like, in a plane. And she called him a liar. And so he asked her, have you ever been in a plane? And she was like, no, I wouldn't trust them. And so there is this group of people who just haven't been anywhere or done anything, and they might believe it legitimately. But anybody that's ever done any travel has to know, in my opinion, that the Earth is curved. And if you go out in a boat, you sail away from shore, you land disappears. And so I mean, that's pretty convincing. And so, anyways, so um, the result of when you buy a ticket to the Flat Earth Conference, you don't join the movement. You pay admission to a ego carnival. Mockery works because it breaks the illusion of the status, which is what I'm trying to do here. Poorly, admittedly, I'm exhausted. Um, Take away the applause, and the ringleaders deflate fast. And that's what I was saying earlier, is essentially that it can only be that these people are some sort of energy vampire, and they're doing this strictly for the I guess, the applause. And so I also have created a song that I'd like to play. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to hear it, but it's making fun of the idea. It's let me find it. Oops. Give me one momento. Um, So, this was actually the origin of tonight's show. Um, so here we'll play it for you. If I can
From dinosaur days, there was a club that controlled us in our minds. They keep us in check, tell us the globe's a lie, and they blind us all the time.
Now,
Over
it's
thousands
kind of
years
spicy,
passing,
so I
they fed
apologize
us
if it's
fake events.
offensive.
Yeah, gave us maps with curves and space flights.
But my understanding is the Illuminati, the initiation is you have to do gay acts, and so that's what I'm implying here.
God's on the dome with the firmament team under the ice wall decree, and we're all duped. Sheeple in the pot, carefully chose to fool nominally. Wanna know why it all be? Just follow the globe money. And it's run by a race of Jews, and the lizards spin the globe too. And it's run by some black dude. I'm in love with Eric Dubé. I'm in charge of the Flat Club now too, and my brain is inside some dudes. I control all your thoughts that the earth's round news. I'm in the Flat Earth Society. 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 Everything that you believe is probably not true. I'm in love with some dumb flat dude. First step of joining the flat world order as you find out your first day. Commit to deny facts and perform 2 acts of stupid blind faith gay. Then you go up in the YouTube tower where the grifter in high castle bends your mind to rape. Come to think of it, actually I swallowed 20 lies and my IQ card is late. Now I'm thinking like, do you know who I call up for information on flat earth? Someone that could explain me how dome domination plans tie into boys. Doc stuck up my butt, now I'm in bed. Rest hurts my gut when I see. Now I'm all out of smarts, gave all of it to the Chinese. The world is run by an Asian dude who transforms to a gay globe cruise, and that's controlled by the same black dude. I'm in love with Eric Dubé, and these guys that are in my room represent flat world order too. When they say when they're inside of my poop chute, I'm in the Flat Earth Society. 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 Everything that I believe is coming out true. I'm in love with the shape of dudes. The forces of robotum pulls us, controlled by ancient zetetic culture. Killed all the science and the proof of the Mercedes stroll off. Was told I could pay to join up. All they did was rape my cornhole. I called to complain, was told that all facts are final. Don't call back. Don't call back. And it's run by a pack of coons, and they pull us with density too. The cabal where our ass is lubed. I'm in love with Eric Dubé. Black guys always send my news, and now my butthole smells like dudes. And Eric Dubé says soon as he jizzes, I'm in the Flat Earth Society. Come on, Dubé, baby, come on. Come on, oh man, baby, come on. Come on, Dubé, rape me, come on. Come on, Dubé, baby, come on. On Dubé, baby, come on. Come on, come on, Dubé, baby, come on. Come on, Dubé, baby, come on. I'm in the Flat Earth Society. Everything that I believe I was told by flat dudes that are up in my anus too.
So, anyways, that was some insulting comments or jokes that I put into a song. I hope you didn't hate it. But I have a few other things that I think are kind of funny. Starting with flat earthers uh, w- uh, act like NASA's hiding the truth, but NASA can't even hide their own browser history. I mean, if you know anything about, there's been some things that leaked out. The other thing that I think is interesting is they claim that everybody's in on this conspiracy. The satellites are fake and all that stuff. Every pilot and astronaut is in on this thing. Yet they trust a guy live streaming from his mom's basement. I mean, that's kind of the status of these people. Um, they call us globetards or global cultists while worshiping a JPEG of a dinner plate. I mean, that's the kind of people we're dealing with. So, um, you got to love the confidence of someone who fails middle school geometry but thinks that they're rewriting physics. I mean, and I got a couple other ones, but I'll save them. I'll go back to um, my actual script here. Um, I don't know. Have any of you guys noticed? I guess it's just Mark actually. But Mark, have you noticed um the flat Earth prevalence on social media, or do you see it like on I don't know what you have Facebook or whatever? Have you been seeing how prevalent it's gotten to be and how many people have bought into this? I'll move on. It'll take you a few seconds, but um so we're going to talk about some of the things that I guess we could consider methodologies to prove or disprove that the Earth is round, and here are some fun parts. The proof. You don't need NASA or a telescope, just patience and some geometry, or not even that. Again, uh, um, uh, yeah. Um, I don't know why he's pushing it to me. I guess maybe I hate it, and so I've responded to a couple. So I guess that's how they got me. But it's actually a massive movement. Um, so uh, here's to you not having to see it, but maybe after looking at this, who knows? The first way, obviously, I'm talking to somebody that believes this, but hopefully, we tend to get about 70 or 80 people now looking at our videos, and hopefully some of them will hate this enough and comment. I'll get a couple of flat earthers. Um, if you sail a ship away from land, the hull disappears before the sails or the rest of the ship, and that's due to the curvature. And basically, for I believe it's every 3 miles, it curves away down 6 inches, and so there's that. Uh, this is a little more difficult, but this is actually the methodology that originally provided proof of the curvature of the Earth. Uh, two sticks and two shadows at different latitude measures the Earth's size within 2% of modern satellite data. That is, in fact, how uh, Eratosthenes, I can't pronounce his uh, Eratosthenes. That's how he's the Greek guy that proved it in the second BC. He proved that the Earth, basically by measuring the difference between, uh, I think it was Alexandria and or something like that. He traveled between the two cities and measured the shadows at the same at various times during the year, and he was able to produce the within I think 2% the actual size of the Earth. And of course, we could do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to do it the easy way, which is get in a plane and fly at 30,000 feet, and you can just see the curvature of the Earth. In fact, you see it much earlier than that. If you get on, I noticed it first when I was about 6 or 7 years old, when I went up in the World Trade Center, and you could just see even there that the Earth is curved. And I just find it strange that nobody, these people that are pushing this ideas, none of them even check it. They just believe it. Um, the other very obvious way is when there's a lunar eclipse, it shows a round shadow no matter what angle or what latitude you're looking at the moon from. And so it would be flat if it was flat. I mean, if their model was correct, we would see a, I don't know, a slice of a shadow across the moon, and we don't. So it's very interesting that they don't see these things. If you, when I was very young, what we did in school, and they probably do much more sophisticated things, is we used to build little rockets and shoot them up into the sky, part of science class. And now you can launch a weather balloon, and with a GoPro, you could see, I mean, you could get it much higher than 30,000 feet. And so, um, again, I mean, there's so many ways to produce a picture of the curvature of the Earth, and there's all these people now that are putting out photos that are saying that the Earth is flat because the horizon is flat. But the vast majority of these images have been photoshopped, and one of the things that Photoshop has as a filter is it will straighten out the horizon because it's such a problem when you take pictures. First of all, you get a little bit of lens distortion, which tends to curve it a little bit, particularly if you have like a fisheye or something. But so basically, Photoshop has it as a one-click feature that it'll fix the horizon so that it'll flatten out images and get rid of the distortion. But again, it's such a prevalent thing, both in photo and video, that it's a one-click option. Uh, yeah, I it's remarkable, it's 2D. Yes, I agree. They're I guess their IQ is also in 2D, because they just don't seem to have the ability to comprehend what they're seeing. I've noticed that if you go out to the beach and you just look at the beach from any of our shores, I notice even when you're looking at the sunset that you can see a slight curvature of the earth from shore. And so I don't even understand how they don't notice these things if they've been on a mountain, if you live anywhere. And so I'm not sure what they're getting out of it, but um, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me that so many people are pushing this, and what the people pushing it get back in return. I don't see that it's a tremendous money maker for them. It's not like they're selling T-shirts on part of the Flat Earth Club or something. I don't get it. And so, um, one of the things that people, I guess, don't understand, if is when they look out at the universe, they see everything is a sphere, and they don't question why everything else is a sphere and why we're a flat plane. Why would they think that? And they must not understand that even when you have like a droplet of water and it's falling inside our atmosphere, the shape it takes is a circle. And that is because gravity basically compresses uniformly, and the pressure on the object makes it form a sphere, because that is basically the most efficient shape. And it's everything becomes a sphere in our universe because gravity, after you get to a certain size, compresses it to, and that's the minimal amount of, uh, I guess, space for a certain mass, and so it's it's just how it is. The other thing is, if they've ever been in a plane and they if they use their maps, like flying from South America to Australia just isn't possible using their maps without and the time frames that they're talking about without basically using teleportation. And so it doesn't, I mean, none of their ideas, and so it leads me back to why are the people at the top pushing this? I actually seen in the research for this, I seen I don't know if he's a billionaire, but he was a very rich man, and he invited the top 10 flat Earth podcasters to Antarctica for the summer there, and he live streamed with them for 24 hours, where they basically could see that the sun didn't set. And of course, that's one of the precepts of the flat Earth is that it, that basically in the North Pole and the South Pole during the various summer seasons for the respective regions, that the sun isn't up 24 hours a day. Their whole theory is that essentially, even at the North and South Pole, that the sun sets, and it's not setting. The sun actually recedes away on the map, and it makes a figure eight shape, and it passes over certain areas, and it shines like a spotlight. But my question to people when I ask them that is, how come you can't see the sun at night, even if it's far away? Why isn't it still out there in the distance, just not as bright? And they can never answer that. And they can't answer why, when you look out over the sea and they say, well, it's the plane is the horizon is flat. It's not, but they like to say that. And what they never talk about is when you're looking out there, the clouds closest to you, you can see space under the clouds, but as it goes further and further away, you start to see where the clouds don't have any like space between them and the ocean. And so I mean, these the simplest things. I mean, it's ridiculous. And I hope some flat earthers see this video and explain to me some of these things, because I would love to hear their take on it. I had hoped we were originally going to run the show on Friday night, and for whatever reason, my brother hasn't been able to make it or notify me what's going on, and we actually had, or I had, some people fight with me who said that they were going to come in and debunk my show, and I had hoped that they would show up, but we moved the Friday night show to tonight, and of course, it didn't fix the situation with my brother either, for whatever reason. He said he wasn't feeling well, and I hope that's the case, and he didn't just blow it off. I'm not hoping that he's not feeling well, but I hope he didn't just forget. And so, anyways, back on track. So there are many experiments available to even curious high schoolers that would destroy the flat Earth model. Prayers for Tony. Yes, I agree. He definitely needs all the prayers, emotional support out the yin yang for him, because he's got something going on. I don't know what it is. But like I said, there's debunking it isn't hard, and the challenge is cultural for some reason. You can't reason somebody out of a delusion they're earning money from, basically. And I guess that can be the only, their clout, money, status, and a feeling of superiority. It's hard to get people to look past their delusion towards the real evidence if they've made up their mind that everything is a lie. So that's where we find ourselves with this show, and it's going to be a much briefer one, because I was going to debate some of this stuff with my brother, but I don't have half his half of the show. So, not that he is a flat earther, but he usually brings a interesting perspective to the show. And so, um, yeah, that's pretty much all I got on this. And uh, he was supposed to have a bunch of videos that I sent him a list of videos that we were going to play, but since he's not here, we can't listen to the people in their own words, which is quite comical. Um, and it would have given us a little more amusement factor for this episode. Unfortunately, we're going to have to forego all that and just call it a wrap for this particular show. I appreciate Mark and Matt for showing up, and any of you who are new, if you guys could, when you see this show, if you could leave a like and hit the subscribe button, and potentially leave a comment on the show if you can. Um, and I appreciate you guys taking a look at it. Remember, I have other social media out there. If you guys, yep, thank you. Good night to you, Mark. And I guess that I will wrap it up there. And you guys have a good week coming up, and hopefully, hopefully that our Wednesday night show will be back on track. And I guess I will leave it there.